So hey guys, I haven't posted a video in quite a while and I just wanted to post something new. Actually during this coronavirus kind of lockdown the past year, it's been pretty crazy just staying at home doing nothing, and I got so interested in binge watching a lot of Korean historical drama. So I got kind of curious because there's lots of movies, TV shows, specifically about Korea. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of posts from people wearing those costumes and stuff. As well as the TV series Kingdom, which I really love a lot. I'm actually waiting for the next season to come out, so I'm sure a lot of you are also waiting for that. And I'm glad that it's on Netflix. Actually, before this COVID situation, I was never really into Netflix because I would usually go out with friends to watch a movie. But since Netflix started, I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix all the time, and it's quite affordable compared to paying like $300 to watch a movie in the theater. It's better to watch on Netflix, I think. Well, money-wise, yeah, you can save more. Anyway, so I've been throughout the whole COVID the time of when COVID started, I've been binge watching a lot of stuff, primarily from Netflix first, and then later on I started understanding more about Korean history, and I understand that there are many periods in Korean history, and sometimes a lot of their shows mix historical with modern day because they try to mix things up where someone in the modern day goes back in time to do something, right? And so I started with watching TV series, and then I started watching some movies, but generally I'm into mostly the TV shows because there are a lot of them. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about what I like about these Korean TV dramas and series, historical drama, actually primarily focused in historical Korean dramas. I don't know why, but I got stuck in this rabbit hole focused on Korean historical drama for some reason. So the first reason I came up with was, within a country there are so many battles that can happen, like the struggle for the throne. Lots of their historical drama is all about the struggle for the throne. So siblings fighting for the throne, and then of course it also portrays a lot of party politics. It actually happens in real life also. So for whatever country you're in, there's always party politics. Then there's also the struggle for wealth in the country, like people vying for some resources to make money. And a lot of these internal struggles deal with a lot of these executions that are happening using poison, torture, assassins. There's lots of bribery, people fighting for fame, fortune, and I already mentioned resources. So lots of internal battle within the country. Actually, I'm not so much into historical stuff before because I really hated geography class, but my teacher, Miss Win Ong, I don't know if you're out there, but I know she's busy with all her jewelry making from Myanmar, yes. She's busy with that, but she lives here. I really admire her because I actually started to like history a lot more because of her. Anyway, the second reason I love these historical Korean dramas is because of also the external factor of these issues, or fighting with other countries, because Korea had to fight with, well, not fight, but they had their disagreements and battles with China, the dynasties of China before. And then Manchuria and the Jurchens, and then the barbarians out there in the north. And then of course the Japanese, and they're always fighting about expansion of territory, and not only because of land, but even because of the sea. So fighting for the sea, ownership of the ports, the sea, and a lot of times they would settle these with marriages. So you can see in some of the historical Korean dramas that they get intermarry, like China sends someone over, then they get married so that they have some sort of relationship between one of the dynasties of China and then, the Korea at that time. So another reason, that's the second reason. The third reason is because of the amazing costumes that they have throughout the different periods in the Korean history. You can notice that I'm not sure how truthful they are, how exact they are to the. Oh, I think they are very particular on the way that the dress or the attire is put together, the costume. So they're very flamboyant at times, at other times they're very normal and simple. And a lot of times there's lots of similarities with the Chinese stuff, because lots of influence from China, because some of the history of Korea was a vassal state to China, something like that, for some of the shows, so you can see that there are different costumes for the royalty, the government, the nobles, the common people, the people performing in the streets. Whenever someone dies, then they have specific costumes for that as well. The people in the temple, like the priests, mostly Buddhists, and they portray Buddhist priests and stuff like that. Female, male priests. Then the people at the temple. The assassins even have their own costumes. The merchants who buy and sell, they're the ones who have different costumes also. If they are a giseng, the people at these entertainment areas, the ladies, they have amazing costumes as well, with the big hair and lots of pins in their hair and everything like that. The doctors have their own costume. The eunuchs in the palace have their own costume. The scholars, the shamans, the army, the navy, they all have their own costume as well. So they have a lot of stuff. They probably have a big, gigantic costume house in Korea where people can probably rent the costumes, right? I have some friends, when they visit Korea, they rent the costumes there at I think the traditional village they have there in Korea, and then they walk around wearing those costumes or just have some pictures taken, right? I think at the palace also they offer that service. Number 4 is the culture. I really enjoy learning about the culture of Korea, and it shows in a lot of the series how the culture has developed, like either through the painting, how important painting is, how the Korean alphabet, how it came to be, because before they used to use lots of Chinese characters, etc. And then one of the kings of in Korea created the alphabet, and then it was also very important for them to record the history of Korea. So one of the kings again ordered some people to put together the historical records of Korea. I wish in our country we had some sort of thing also, but not that much. But anyway, but because of that, they're able to make all these amazing Korean historical drama pieces, which I think a lot of you will enjoy, just like me. Right? And then, also number 5, there's lots of development as far as philosophy. Although they took a lot from China because of the Confucius learnings and stuff like that, then Buddhism came in, and then, the shamans, you can really see what was there before at that time. And a lot of these things actually influenced a lot of decision making and beliefs and what the people would think, and how the government would act and stuff like that. So you will see this streak among all the Korean historical dramas, because they believe a lot of stuff prior to science coming in. Which brings into number 6, the science. So the science and technology development in Korea, you can clearly see it throughout the different various series of Korean historical drama. So pottery, the development of pottery, as it relates to between Korea and Japan, and how Japan loved Korea's pottery, and then the development of time, how they track time in Korea, they showed that also, and the development of the warships that they have in Korea. They have a series specifically on that, weaponry, on the battlefield, medicine, so they have a lot of series on that too, acupuncture, medicine, and lots of that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And you can see in all the series that there's always some particular locations which always crop up. So it's either within a palace. We have amazing palaces, and I'm amazed and I'm glad that they're able to preserve it. And I know that some of them are destroyed in fires or wars, but the Korean government and the people actually rebuilt and restored a lot of it. You know, so and I remember just recently, like something. Oh no, that's not Korea. It was Japan. But they pay a lot of they place high importance on restoring historical places and locations. So it's good. And then other series focuses on the prison. They have a whole series focusing on the Korean prison before, and also they have lots of the ports where it's important, where trade happens. They feature that too. And then for some reason they have a lot of caves where everyone's always escaping to. So when it comes to caves, you get to see a lot of the Korean landscape, which is very beautiful, as well as scenery of the forest and everything like that. I think they take all of everything I would suppose is all filmed in Korea, so it's beautiful. I've seen that other places have been filmed somewhere else, like I forgot where, but for the most part, I think most is filmed in Korea. And oh yeah, you'll enjoy all the wide landscapes. You see a beautiful landscape, and then it makes you feel like, wow, this place is so beautiful. I want to visit, right? And they have lots of waterfalls for some reason. They always have someone jumping off a waterfall, and everyone trying to run after the person thinks that they're dead, but then later they come along and they're still alive, right? Waterfalls, cliffs, always near the ocean, someone jumps off, wanting to kill themselves, but somehow they're saved, or someone saved them, or they didn't actually die, then they come back to seek revenge, or not necessarily seek revenge, but put everything back in the right place where things should be. And of course, they're amazing battlefield scenes, so those are pretty amazing. How can they, well, maybe a lot of it is in CGI, but they pay particular attention to all these battlefield scenes with a lot of people. Especially in, for example, Jumong, there's so many people involved in these battle scenes, since it's an epic historical drama. They must hire a lot of people for that. Well, anyway, another thing I like, number 8, are the common scenes, because it's common across all the Korean dramas. So, even the modern ones, there's always like someone falling into someone's arms all the time. Well, they do that in almost all the series all the time. Someone's about to trip, and then of course the lover catches them, right? And they always do this thing. They look back, like if something weird happens, or something like dramatic happens, and or something like emotional happens, or inspiring happens, like inside an office or inside the palace, then one of them goes out and then looks back and thinks about something, looks back at the palace, even the person not there, but looks back at the palace or the building or something, and tries to reminisce, like think about what the next step is, or how that has impacted their life, or what they're going to do next. They always do that, even in the modern ones. And of course, this is a no-brainer. At the end of every episode, there's always a cliffhanger to make you wait for the next episode, or make you like, what's happening here? Why they stop it here? And then you have to wait for the next episode before you can watch or find out what's gonna happen next, right? And let's see what else. Oh, and usually the way they end all these dramas and stuff is like either they're having a big party and everything gets resolved, or it's some couple, the main character or some loved one, they're together and they're enjoying beautiful scenery of Korea. Or if the main person died, then there's someone reminiscing about them. That's usually how these things end. Depends on the series that you're watching. It varies, right? But I must say, what's common about all these Korean drama, and I think it's also the same with other dramas, but in particular the way how things are unraveled in each drama. You know, you feel like you start at the beginning, but you know, sometimes they jump into the past, forward and jump into the past again, you know, back and forth. I mean, in the past, within the drama, in that period, they jump back and forth so that you can understand what happened before when they're a child, right? So it feels like they're peeling one little petal at a time to learn more about what's happening in the life and what were the reasons why they're acting like that. And I think that's what's amazing about the Korean drama. I think they pay particular attention to, you know, explaining why someone would act this way, because usually other dramas and stuff, they would always just keep on moving forward, or sometimes just a small flashback, you know. But this one, they really jump back and show a whole maybe a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes of what happened before, so you can get a better understanding of what happened in the past. And of course that fills in the whole series as to, you know, how the plot is building up, right? Okay, number 9. So because of all these Korean dramas, my gosh, my mind is filled up with so many Korean words. So some of them are like, I go, oh no. They use it all the time for something like surprising that you like, or surprising you didn't like, or actually they use it for everything.
Number 1, intro. Number 2, struggle for the number 1, the struggle for the throne. Number 2, external factors. Number 3, culture. Number 4, other series focus. Number 5, Korean words. Number 6, music. Number 7, conclusion. Number 8.
Also they use mama, so I guess they're kind of related. And then they also use Chujang Mama, which is also related to Peha or Mama. I would think, I have to check it out.
Number 9, Korean
and
culture.
A lot of times they would also use
Number 10,
so I have to make another video really finding out what these are. But the most common thing I've always seen in all these royal kind of things is this word, Songguni Mamu Komida, which is like your grace is so immeasurable thing, something like that. I have to check it. But another one is Mora. What? Yes, Mora. And a lot of times you always see this in every single historical drama, or even the modern ones. Like you want someone to shut up or stop talking like that, you know, like that. They do that all the time. It's like a snake, you know, like, so there. And the last thing that I really like a lot, although I didn't like it at the beginning when I started seeing some historical drama, is the music. Because some of the music in the earlier periods of historical dramas of Korea were not that great. But I must say, the later ones, the ones that were developed maybe in the past 2010 onwards, the music is really good. Actually, looking back at my high school years in IS with my classmates, the Koreans are very musically inclined. Like, I have this friend, Kyung Hwa-lee, she's an amazing clarinetist. Sorry, I used to teach her a lot before of something, but And then there's what's her name? Sun Young Ri, amazing soprano. And there were a lot more, but they were amazing people who loved playing music. So I really admired them for it. So you can see in the later series, the music is amazing. If you get the soundtrack, for example, of I forgot the title, but the music is really amazing. You should see it. Sometimes the music, when they tie it up it matches together with the feeling of the show. So you end up in tears, or you end up getting nervous because the music is making you nervous or excited, right? So yeah. And of course, if something's funny, then of course they play some funny music, and suspense, then suspense as usual. Anyway, I should wrap this up. I've been talking for 20 minutes already. But three things I've realized at the very end. Actually, I'm still watching, but I kind of stopped for a bit. But I realized that the Koreans have a rich history that has been documented. They have these books that documents the history of Korea. Two main books. Maybe I'll talk about it another time. But two main books. One book is about the legends and folklore. And then you have another book which covers a lot of the more real history of Korea. And then of course what's great is one of the kings before had it all documented. And now they have a lot of these things documented which can be used for their series. Right? So I think a lot of their series, I noticed, is based of course on these historical dramas, and of course to generate more content they make some more fantastical kind of series. So just take note, a lot of these historical dramas, sometimes they're even not real. So you have to there are ways to distinguish it. You have to check the Wikipedia page to see if it's based on history or not. Sometimes it's loosely based on history.
Number 8.
That's the first thing I noticed, the rich culture and history that's been documented. And the second thing I realized is even though they have a different culture and history and they have their own idiosyncrasies, a lot of their problems and struggles to overcome try to overcome is similar to other countries also. Like you and me, they have the same problems, trying to live in hard times, right? It might be hard before, but it's a different kind of hard now. But it's still the same, right? Even though their culture and history are different, it's the same. Whether we're living in the Philippines or in a different country, we have these problems that we're all trying to overcome. Whether it be internally within the country or within our country, trying to overcome something with other countries right now, even with this COVID thing, right? Internal battles, I've seen some stuff about the vaccine, whether it's real or not, and stuff like this. And then from other countries, who's to blame? Everyone's blame throwing. So I wish somehow all of these things would get resolved, right? But that's the parallelism I can draw based on what's happening before and now, right? So regardless, even though it's history, it's still happening now, and everyone's having the same problems everywhere. Right? And the third thing I noticed, or I realized, I noticed this before, but more now than ever, is the fact that, growing up with friends who are Korean, and after graduating from high school and then growing up also, I notice a lot of Filipinos have these preconceptions or notions about the Koreans out there. When you go, for example, whenever I go to Boracay, for example, or out in the mall and I see Koreans, and my friends are with me, everyone usually has these notions about the Koreans are like this, they have their stereotypes and stuff like that. But I don't want to talk and tell my friends that they're like us, You know, it's the same thing. They have their own way. They grew up that way, and sometimes they would make fun of them. But now I realize I should speak up more. You know, because they just have a different culture, and they grew up like that, and but deep down inside, if you just dig deeper, we're all the same, regardless of whatever country you're from. Okay, sure, you've grown up with some different values or way of growing up or way of doing things, right? It's your culture, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all trying to survive and, you know, trying to live with each other in this world. The more as we keep on growing, and then there's more development ongoing, the resources in our country, in our world, is getting lesser and lesser. There's more pollution, there's more development, and more people growing, more people in the world, you know. We need to learn and to live with each other and see past through our differences. I think that's the best thing that we should take into account. And if ever we see someone talking down or like saying something bad about a different culture, other people, we should just call it outright and tell people, or just educate them, instead of maybe not, you know, lecturing to them, but share your experience about, you know, how they are from your point of view, and explain why you think like that, in hopes that they'll understand. Anyway, enough of me talking like this. I haven't talked like this in a while, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to get through. I never knew I would end up my video just like this. Okay, it's 20 minutes of talking. It's too much talking already. But I wish and I hope that, you know, I did spend my time in this COVID kind of situation well, because I got to understand another culture through their TV shows and movies. Although it's in the past, but you can see where everybody has come from, where a particular culture has come from or has stemmed from. You know where the seed is, right? So, likewise, anyway, let's learn to live with each other and be more kinder and more respectful with each other. Take care and have a great day. Thanks guys for listening and me rambling. I didn't know I would ramble this much, but anyway, go out and check out one of these Korean historical dramas. I'll probably create a video for each one that I've watched, and I hope you enjoy. Take care. Have a great day.